Coach on top of it.
All right, we're recording. So welcome to tonight's webinar. We're so excited to have you here. I'm Stephanie Dunmeyer, the women's basketball coach. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm happy to report that this is pretty much the most you're going to hear from me tonight. We're going to turn it over to everybody else here. And so we're looking forward to hearing great perspective from our wonderful 6 alums that are here tonight. I am going to turn it over to Coach Mo to be our moderator tonight. So I'll let her talk here in a minute, but I am going to be checking the Q&A throughout. So if you have additional follow-up questions, please feel free to submit questions that way. We might go ahead and just respond to them there, or we'll answer them live if we can throw them in. So we've got a lot of information to cover, but we're so excited you're here tonight, and turn it over to Coach Mo.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, so Q&A function down low if you guys have any questions. I'm Coach Mo. I use she, her, hers pronouns. But we are in the presence of a lot of greatness today. It's pretty cool to think about. So we got 3 of the team that was on the conference championship, won the first NCAC tournament in school history. We got the all-time leading steals and assists and top 3 in scoring in Zynga. We got Christina, the 3-point threat from all over, pretty much every record in Oberlin history. And then Amber, who is a 3-sport athlete at Oberlin. So just in the presence of a lot of people who are doing amazing things in the world as well, not just in the sports world, but just doing amazing things. So I know on Zoom screens and everything, it's a little bit different, but Nicole, you're to the left of me. So if we could go name, pronouns, Oberlin grad year, and then just give everybody a little bit of a synopsis of what you've been up to post-graduation.
Yeah, so my name's Nicole Geist. I use she, her, hers. I graduated this past May 2020, and I have been working on an ambulance as an EMT basic, as well as a medical assistant in a small family practice. Especially with everything that's going on with COVID, it's been a different experience, but I've really enjoyed it. I am preparing for PA school, and I'll be applying coming in January. So,
awesome. Thanks, Nick. Maggie, you're right below Nicole, so why don't you go next?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie. I use she, her, hers. I was class of 2020 as well. I'm currently in grad school, a counseling program at George Mason University in Virginia. But my classes are all remote currently, so I'm actually home in Binghamton, New York, and I'm nannying to make money.
Thanks, Maggie. And Zinga, you're next on my screen.
Hello, I'm Zinga Bouchard, class of 2002. Hey, Christina, it's nice to see you. I already gave my shout out to Amber. So after I graduated from Oberlin, I got a PhD in economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. I've been out for a while, so I've done quite a few things since graduating, but now I'm currently at the Global Innovation Fund, where we invest in early stage companies whose products and services help improve the lives of people living on less than $5 a day in developing countries. So I'm trying to have an impact on the world.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, Shy, you're next on my screen.
Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne. I use she, her, hers. I'm also a graduate of the class of 2020. Currently, since graduation, I'm applying to medical school right now. So that process is a year long. So I'm still kind of waiting. But I'm also working as a medical scribe at Emory University Hospital.
Awesome. Thanks, Shy. Amber, you're next on my screen.
All right, awesome. Hey, everybody. My name is Amber Coleman-Mortley, She Series. I am the Director of Social Engagement at a company called iCivics. We make video games and civic content. My work, I was a former teacher, and I also run a podcast with my 3 daughters, and I'm a mom blogger too. So hands in lots of pots.
Awesome. Christina, last but not least.
Hi all, my name is Christina Bribaneria, class of 2005. Since graduating, I actually have been a financial planner for the last 16 years. So I've have always been that, but in the meantime, in addition to being a financial planner, I've also been a somewhat of a serial entrepreneur. So I own both my financial planning practice or several businesses, such as a part owner of physical therapy practice, real estate investing, and have helped sit on boards and started a few nonprofits. So, and I go by she, hers, hers.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. So let's just start out with kind of some general questions from everybody. We'll start really broad. Let's start with you, Shy, on this one. But like, why Oberlin for you? Talk about your decision-making process. Obviously, everybody on this that's attending this is kind of going through the process. Kind of talk about what stood out to you for Oberlin and why Oberlin was the ultimate decision for you.
So I think first and foremost, it was just the atmosphere when I visited Oberlin. It was so warm and welcoming. Like everyone talks to you, everyone, like showed you around if you're lost. It was just like a great experience overall. I also had the ability to stay overnight too with the team. So just the team was just so friendly, everyone loving on each other. Yeah, and just being friendly, having fun. So I think that was a huge part. And also from the academic standpoint, I think for me, the pre-med department was really a big factor for me because I knew coming into college that I wanted to be pre-med. So just being able to talk with faculty and advisors, meet professors, all of them be friendly and open to helping me out too was definitely a big decision for me.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Shai. What about you, Nick? Why did you choose Oberlin?
I chose Oberlin because I had a really great Prosby experience, as well as my parents really loved Oberlin. They fell in love with the campus, which made me kind of fall in love with the campus. But my Prosby experience really sealed the deal with Abby Andrews, class of 2018 grad. I'm also from Michigan, so U of M, that's awesome. But so the proximity of the location to my home was a big factor too. So.
Yeah, for sure. And Zinga, what about you? How'd you end up choosing Oberlin?
So I have to give all the credit to my mom. She basically told me to come to Oberlin. I gave up a spot at Stanford University to come to Oberlin. But this was the best decision that I made. And, I think I've said this multiple times that I was really fortunate to have a mother that understood the value and benefits of attending a small liberal arts college. She knew what Oberlin had to offer. So, there was really no moment during a visit or anything that stood out much about Oberlin other than my mom just kind of knowing that, this was probably a good fit for me for undergrad. And she had the fruition to know that I'd probably be going on to graduate school. So she thought a small liberal arts college would be a great stepping stone before expanding to something larger, like a Stanford or a Michigan.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Maggie, what about you? How'd you end up choosing Oberlin?
Similar to what Nicole and Cheyenne said, I had a great Prosby visit. The team was awesome. They welcomed me like I was part of the family already. And then when I got here, they welcomed me even more. And we literally just grew into a big, happy family. The culture is really cool at Oberlin. And I really wanted to play basketball and go to like a really strong academic school. So it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, awesome. Amber, what about you?
Yeah, I'll say, Maggie's answer of strong academics, and I also wanted to play sports. I had no clue where I wanted to go to college, even up to my senior year. So like Oberlin was like it was like the last possible way to make a choice, like the last timeline on the timeline. So I was like, I guess I'm going to Oberlin. And like on my visit, it was amazing. I met like Nzinga, I met the basketball team. They were just super dope. And I was like, these are the people that I want as my friends and my support system.
Oh, that's awesome. What about you, Christina?
So sort of the same thing as Amber. So I actually went to high school in Houston, and two of my former teammates who were actually in Amber's class were also on the team at Oberlin. So I actually had the benefit of knowing two other people before going there, Trinice Harrell and Emily Wells at the time. So I had already known about Oberlin. I've heard about it. But really, what really stood out to me was the fact that I was going to be able to play basketball at such a, highly regarded institution. But similar to Amber, I actually was like, I have no idea what I'm getting into. And I guess I'm going to go. So, but, I had the privilege and opportunity to play with Amber and Zinga, and, really, obviously had just a great time being on the team once I finally got there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's kind of transition. I know, Nzinga, you talked about this, but just kind of give them a sense of like liberal arts and then kind of the academic environment at Oberlin, if you could. I know it's been a little bit of time, but just talk about like the academic environment and liberal arts at Oberlin, if you can, Nzinga.
I often say this, that, one of the nice things about attending a small liberal arts college are the small class sizes. You get noticed in the classes. You get noticed by your classmates but more importantly, you get noticed by your professors. And that for me really is what made the difference. It was the reason why I went on to get a PhD in economics. It was the reason why a number of the opportunities that opened up for me while I was at Oberlin was because of the relationships that I was able to develop with my professors, but also with my coaches as well. You know, and the intellectual environment is just, you know, it's something amazing. I think Oberlin is very, very unique in the diversity that the campus and the college offers. You know, so I talk, although I said early on that it was my mom that made the decision for me to come to Oberlin, but that was the best decision that I think I could have ever made, or that she could have ever made for me, because, you know, I think I was very, very blessed to get to know my classmates, my teammates, and also my professors and coaches from my experiences at Oberlin.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody have anything else to add on just like the environment classroom-wise, Nicole?
Yeah, I actually have a comparison. So I've attended community college where I got my EMT license, and I've attended now Western where I'm taking some prerequisites before PA school. And just comparing it to the Oberlin education is Oberlin helps with application of knowledge. I've noticed that they're really good at kind of making you understand something by helping you apply the information that you're learning to like problems that you get in class. Whereas like where I'm at Western right now, and it's mostly just like kind of memorization and regurgitation. So I learned so much from Oberlin, and it's not like I'm not learning from Western, but I would say the Oberlin education is just a little bit more thorough. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Anybody have anything else to add on that? Liberal arts in general and just Oberlin? Okay.
Yeah, I'll say that there's space to explore. You know, you have space to explore interests. You know, I like have tons of them. So like, I'm like, what? So, you know, I had time and space within the curriculum to like look into other things. So I think you might not get that in other places. Also like this whole like collaborative versus competitive environment, right? Like, I think people are willing to help you more and study with you more at Oberlin versus other places where, you know, it's like literally dog eat dog, like you're just grinding out. And it doesn't mean that the academics are left. Everyone here is brilliant and smart and amazing and intelligent, but there's a little bit more space for collaboration that you might not get in other institutions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to piggyback on that, because Amber and I know very well, like some of our best conversations where she and I and a few of our other teammates actually would have really educational, in-depth conversations for hours just in the lunchroom. And you know, I honestly still speak on that a lot now because, you know, even though I was a math and history major with like a minor in religion, again, you know, I don't know if I use some of my knowledge now, but maybe I do. But, you know, the fact is like a lot of those conversations, I don't think I would have gotten at a state school. You know, I was applying to University of Texas or Texas A&M, and I don't think those same conversations would have happened at, you know, if I went somewhere like that other than Oberlin.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Let's kind of transition. This is a good question. I know it's really broad. But what makes Oberlin special or different to you guys? Anybody want to take that one? Just what makes Oberlin special?
I'll jump in. All of the, you know, I'll just go. So all of the cool events. So, you know, there's a lot that's happening. I don't know if it's evolved to like, there isn't, but I know when we were here, you know, like you had things like Safer Sex Night, and you had like, you know, drag ball, and you had like, you know, there were like random fashion shows like in Wilder Bowl, right? So like there is so many things that, you know, I'm from Northeast Ohio, but my eyes were open to so many just interesting and challenging ideas. I had to challenge a lot of my own biases and like the way that I saw the world coming to Oberlin. And I think that that's a special space where it's like you have the freedom to explore and to challenge and to absorb and to observe. And I think that that's something that, you know, outside of sports and outside of the classroom, that's something very special about Oberlin.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, if I can second that, I think what really makes Oberlin special are the students. You know, the diversity of the student body is just something that I truly value. And I think, Amber, I think you articulated, what's really unique and special about Oberlin. You have the opportunity to be different, but not feel different, if that makes sense. But I think, Amber, you did an amazing job of capturing that specialness about Oberlin.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. Let's talk about one of the questions came up was the difficulty in terms of adjusting to college. So I know, Maggie, you haven't been out too long. What was that transition like? Obviously from high school, from a basketball standpoint, community, academic. I know we've touched on a few things, but what was the biggest transition, I guess, for you from high school to college?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is that basketball was the first transition, I guess. It was something that was on my mind as I was deciding to go to school 6 hours away from home. All through high school, my parents had been to almost all my games, or like all the games that they could go to. So they've always just like been in the stands. And so it was going to be a weird transition that they were not going to be in the stands, I guess. But luckily we have goyo.com to broadcast our games, every single game. My parents were sitting in the living room watching it on TV, yelling at the TV. My brother could watch the games. He was always sending me text messages, making fun of me, telling me I did good or bad or whatever. But that was a big transition for me.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Anything else to add on the transition from high school to college? Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Can I speak on an academic perspective as well?
Oh yeah, all the perspectives, whatever the big, yeah. For sure.
I think the biggest transition for me was learning how to study. And I think that's kind of universal for any college experience. But when you're taking college courses, it's a different kind of learning environment than in high school. And that took me a little bit to adjust to. But I'd say that Oberlin really helped me out in learning how to study and like learning how I personally retain information. So,
yeah. What's up, Shy?
I think, quite honestly, one of the biggest transitions for me was the weather. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, the South, the heat. So coming to Ohio was kind of tough for me at first. But I think that one of the major things that got me through is with the team. Like sometimes we'll have like hot chocolate night and watch movies and do things like that. So, just being able to hang out with like people that I enjoy being with and having fun with kind of like took my mind off of the code. And I started actually enjoying little activities in the code or like snowball fights and stuff like that. So that was just a really good experience for me overall.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's transition to the balance. All right. So Amber, we got to know, like you played 3 sports at Oberlin. How did you balance playing 3 sports, excelling in the classroom? Like give them the inside scoop on that.
Yeah. I'll just say like, you just do it. Right. And I know I hate to say it that way. Like every day is training, right? Every day is like conditioning. Every day is like practice. I gave up a lot, right? Like I didn't study abroad. I didn't do an honors project like I probably should have. There's a whole lot of things that I could have done that didn't, but I would never give it up, right? Like playing 3 sports, I was like, this is my body right now, and it can do these things, and I might as well do it because I know I'm gonna be fat and old one day. So might as well just ball to the wall and do it. I will say that there's a lot of support that happens, just communicating clearly with my professors, like, hey, okay, I know I talked about basketball season last week, it's track season now, here's what's happening, so like communicate. And then my teammates, like, every team I was on was just a wonderful group of supportive people who are just like, why are you doing this? But also, we're glad that you're here. So like, it was just really awesome to have 3 different families to lean on and to talk to go to. Obviously, I love the basketball team the most, but like, it was good to have, yeah, that's right. But it was good to have so many wonderful friends and supportive people to learn from. And hang out with and get to know, right? But shout out to Aminga, she ran track too. So like you just do it, right? And if you have your mind set to a goal, like you can do anything. I know that sounds cliche, but
yeah. And Zinga, I think the record's still up in terms of your, I think, what is it, 200 meters or something? Like it's still there. It's still the record.
Apparently, I guess I have a couple. That's great.
Yeah.
No, but Oberlin is small. The town is small. The school is small. There's not that many distractions. So, it's an opportunity to a lot of different people. I think our coaches are aware that we're here primarily for our academics. And so they understand the situations that we're in. And I can just say for me, I'm very, very shy. And so being a student athlete, it kind of provided an icebreaker whenever I was in an uncomfortable situation, right? Like my professors could always start a conversation about attending a basketball game or a track meet, right? And then that could kind of be the entry point into talking about the classwork or other things outside of sports in the classroom. So, it is difficult as Amber described, but I think there were more benefits to being a multi-athlete student than costs associated with it.
Yeah. Coach, you want to talk about the question that popped in? You're on mute.
Still am. Sorry, I clicked it and moved away, but it didn't take it. So we had one come in that was just, and while we're on kind of, obviously people very, very busy, academics comes first, a lot of different things, but it did come in, how is the social life at Oberlin? And so maybe we can kind of touch on that in terms of like just different things that people did to wind down. If you guys felt like there was a lot to do, if you ended up, maybe we could hit this question here too, with if you ended up going to Cleveland at all, or, taking advantage of any of the surrounding areas as well. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
So I feel like Amber and I were social chairs when we were there. So Amber and I and one of our other teammates, we actually DJ'd at the campus club, the SCO, and Zigga knows, like, because I guess we were DJing at the time too. But the SCO is like the main campus club. At the time that we all three of us were there, there was probably only, and parents all put your earmuffs on, but there was only one bar in town at the time, but now there's probably a few more restaurants and bars in town. But then outside of just the bars and events that happen at those places, the students actually put on a lot of events. And Amber alluded to it earlier, where we were also co-chairs of events like Colors of Rhythm. There's a bunch of orchestra, and there's a world-class conservatory at our school that had events all the time. So every day of the week there was an event going on, and so it's whether you chose to either study or go, which I think really you can decide what you want to do from a social standpoint.
I think
I'll jump in. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I think just to bounce off of that, the social life is really what you make of it. I feel like Oberlin is unique because you'll always find like other people who have similar interests in you, and you can spend time with like different people, different groups doing different things. I think especially too with the athletes, like I found myself being friends with a lot of other athletes, and going to their games or doing stuff with them, going to parties with them or things like that. So it's just really what you make of it.
I would say being from Cleveland, right? There's like, I had no need to go back, as everyone's saying, like there's so much to do on campus. Oberlin does an amazing job of bringing people to, like, speakers and like acts and performances as well. So you have like the students who are doing some really world-class, amazing things, honing their craft in a variety of spaces. And then you have the college just bringing in like awesome speakers and like performers and dancers. And it's just amazing. Like you have no real reason to leave unless you really just wanted to see what the Cleveland life is like. But it's amazing on campus, and I would highly recommend that anyone come really engage in the campus life and the things that happen on campus so that you get the full Oberlin experience.
Awesome. Any other thoughts on, like, Nicole, I know you went out to a lot of restaurants during winter. Nicole was like the foodie on our team last
year. I knew you were going to bring me into
Yep. You got to give me the inside scoop, Nicole.
Yes, the secret's out. I went out to eat a lot. I did not like Stevie. Not a huge fan of it, but the food's great. Don't get me wrong. Compared to other dining halls, it's really, really good. But I did like to go out to eat. And I made pals with the people in town. Like, I still keep in touch with them. Like, we Snapchat. I befriended a lot of the waitresses, like waitressing staff, and sent someone a baby shower gift. Like, like I really got connected with them. But also, I enjoyed the Oberlin experience. I wish I would have taken advantage of the Oberlin like atmosphere more when I was there, because I like my first few years I would go to like Michigan to go hang out with some of my friends at home, but I didn't really start staying there until this year, and I wish I would have taken advantage of that experience more, because I had so much fun the last few weeks until COVID hit, because I was like finally hitting my peak, and then COVID, but it's okay. It was still fun.
We'll get you back, Nicole. Well, and like kind of off that too, like just different clubs and organizations, I guess, to get involved with. I know you guys touched on Colors of Rhythm, but any other clubs or organizations you guys want to talk about that you guys were involved in?
So I chaired several organizations, but I'm Filipino, so I was like chair of the Filipino American Student Association, and there are a few others that, if it's identity based or math club. I mean, there like even there's excos also where you can actually teach, and so I learned how to do a Rubik's Cube, and me and a few other colleagues also taught excos that we were able to lead. So those were some of my.
Awesome.
I think for me, the one that I just want to kind of give a shout out to is I'm a co-founder of the Black Student Athlete Group, which was just made in the past year. Yeah. And it's really just kind of like designed for like Black student athletes to get together to have like a supportive community for each other. And like also host events. We have people come back and talk to the athletes about like Black history at Oberlin or just Black history in general. So I think that's really one of the great things that I love. And I'm sad that kind of got cut short because of COVID, but it's still there. So
yeah. I'm loving the ring shot. She's got the ring on, everybody, the conference championship ring. That's huge. Awesome. Any other ones you guys want to talk about at all?
I was in SAC, which is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, which just did a lot of stuff with like athletes and like games and promoting games, and we would give out gear and try and just get the whole campus involved in that kind of stuff. And I also like tutored and mentored at the local school district, which was really nice because it was awesome to get like out into the community.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically like NMDA, the Neuroscience Majors Department Association or something like that. It's a play on a receptor in the brain. But if I was the community outreach chair, so I really enjoyed doing that. And I hosted Thanksgiving at my house for the NMDA meetings.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, let's kind of transition to a little bit more of the academic side. I know we've touched on it a little bit, but anybody want to talk about just different research opportunities? I know, Christina, you did like a really cool winter term project. So if you want to kind of talk about winter term, I guess, and give them the down low on that, but also just different research opportunities you guys had on campus.
Yeah, so one of the research projects that I did, there were actually several, but one that I did during winter term was I actually became an assistant basketball coach at Oberlin High School. So that was, I did that for 6 weeks and wrote a paper and was able to really, provide back to the community. I'm actually still mentoring a few of the members I met from that winter term project. I also was part of an undergraduate research program for 2 years, which was the Ronald E. McNair Scholarship. It's no longer available, but it's the Office of Undergraduate Research. If you're interested in pursuing some type of master's or PhD, you can also go speak with them. And I actually did a research project for 2 summers with them, where I determined if there was a home court advantage in the NCAC, which is our conference, and we found that there was actually no home court advantage, just so that you guys all know.
Yeah. Awesome. Shai, what do you got?
I think also just to explain, so winter term is a period of time from I guess after the end of like kind of like the holiday break in December. So from January to February, we don't have any classes at all. So, well, usually for basketball, we're there, you know, grinding, working hard, playing the games, but it's just nice to get a break from the academics. So I just want to let everyone know that. I think that's unique about Oberlin too. So
Yeah.
keep in mind.
I did some research. I was a psychology major, and so one of the options for like credits was to take like a research class or do research with a professor. So I did 3 semesters of research with one professor, and it was great. It was one of the things that like is pretty special about Oberlin, where I have like a great relationship with him. I still like communicate with him. And you know, if I was at a bigger school and doing research, I would just be another research assistant in the lab, and it was just a completely different experience.
Absolutely. What about internships? Does anybody want to touch on just different internships, either that they had at Oberlin or how like maybe the career development office kind of worked into helping you set up with different internships at all?
So I can speak on that a little bit as an alum, actually. So owning my own business for the last 16 years, I've actually have hired several interns every summer for at least probably 6 or 7 years, for the last 6 or 7 years. And they've come to intern for me in Atlanta. And I can say from just an internship standpoint, there are many alumni who are willing and able to provide internships. Just recently, my 2020 intern, or excuse me, basically, anyway, an intern actually just got hired on to work for me. So now she actually works for me. But I think there's actually plenty of internships, both unpaid and paid internships. The Office of Career Development actually will provide that list of all of the paid and unpaid. And there's also scholarships that are available for those types of internships for both winter term and summer term.
That's fantastic. Great. Anybody else internships or things that they did? Shai, you got one?
Yeah, so during the summer, I forgot which summer it was, but I had the chance to intern at the CDC in Atlanta. And I think, well, for applying for that position, the career development team really helped me a lot in terms of my resume, like interviewing skills, things like that. So I think definitely if you come to Oberlin, make use of those resources when it comes time to trying to find your path, or even before that, you know, they really help you get out there and just explore your options.
Yeah. So, Nzinga, we had a specific question for you. Like, how did you end up choosing econ and math? So I know we have a couple on the call that are really interested in math. So if you want to talk about, you know, how you decided on those majors and what that experience was like.
The math was easy. I enjoyed math. I always knew that I wanted to take as many math courses as possible, which also implies that I'd be a math major. Econ, I think, is more interesting in a sense of I knew nothing about economics. I wanted to actually be an accounting major, but Oberlin doesn't offer accounting. And so I took my first econ course thinking it was the closest thing to accounting or business. And I think within the first week, I realized that economics just applied math. And then at that moment, I actually saw how I could have a career, you know, utilizing the skills that I enjoy to do. So math was just more of something that was just fun. I wanted to do the problems and the problem solving, whereas economics was, you know, you can actually solve real world problems with the skills that you develop in the economics courses. And so that's how ultimately it became a double major of math and econ.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, really cool. Awesome. Well, let's kind of shift a little bit more to the career side of things, kind of transitioning us. Like, Amber, if you want to talk about like how did the decision to go to Oberlin impact your career today?
Yeah, so let's just say I spent a ton of time convincing people that high quality civic education standards that are equitable are a good thing. It's not necessarily lobbying. So my organization has 2 arms, the video games curriculum side and then also the state standards side. And so from Oberlin, I pull a lot of the people skills being on 3 different teams and being able to, you know, just say, hey, like, how are you? And being able to like just talk to anybody and pull people in. So I will say that I got that from Oberlin. As far as academics, just honing my writing skills, like, because I work in nonprofits and there is tons and tons and tons of writing, like more writing than sometimes you really want to. You're just like, I should have 5 PhDs by now, right? So like being able to like have a college really get your writing skills down and really teach you how to like convey your point in an eloquent but also beautiful way, you know, that has been super helpful in my work. So, you know, those people skills, being on teams, and then writing skills and working in the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
And just a shout out to Amber right now as well, because she also uses her amazing energy and skills to work with our department right now. She also met with our football team the other day and giving just a wonderful presentation to our coaching staff about how to be an anti-racist coach and how every day to kind of take actions to, again, move the needle in the right direction in terms of that social justice realm and just do everything we can to be better on a daily basis. So the energy springs, the ability to connect with people, I mean, it's just tremendous. So shout out to you, Amber. Okay, I'll go back on mute. Okay.
Thanks, Coach. I know, Christina, you talked about it from like an alum perspective, but as you were becoming like a financial planner, like what kind of connections did Oberlin give you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will completely say this, and in all honesty, I actually would not have progressed as far as I would have in my career without Obie's being supporting me from the very beginning. So I actually was both a math and history major, and like I said earlier, a religion minor. But I was my hero was in Zynga, so that's why I decided to do math, and I have no idea if I use it now. But in general, as I was going through this process of interviewing various companies, and I started to tell my advisors and share the people I was around about the career I was going into, they supported me from the very beginning. And actually, even today, some of my best clients are actually Oberlin alumni and staff and so forth. And, you know, in terms of the things that, piggybacking off of what Amber was saying, the things that we learn in terms of communicating in the business world has been helpful because we have to communicate as a team. So whether we agree or disagree on something or not, you know, we've learned those skills. And to this day, I lead and manage a team and my staff, and I use the same skills that we used, you know, even when we were freshmen and seniors in colleges at Oberlin.
Yeah. And I think that brings up a really good point. We have a couple that are interested in business, right? And Oberlin's starting actually a business concentration in the fall of 2021, I think. But obviously, Oberlin doesn't have a business major. Can you guys any kind of talk about how that kind of worked and not having the business degree maybe that a bigger school has, but how you guys got into the business world without that kind of major offered at Oberlin?
I don't really know how to answer that. Like I said, I think, you know, going in, a lot of people have this interest in pursuing, you know, some type of business degree. I'm a little bit biased as an economist, right? Because people often confuse economics and business with the same thing, and economics suggests, you know, I kind of see business as like a subset of economics, but, you know, the opportunity to explore a field like economics or even some of the other social sciences and how that can be applied to, you know, business, law, or some of these, and, you know, medicine, other things, I think is something that's really, really crucial about a liberal arts college. So I'm actually surprised about Oberlin expanding and offering these some type of business major, which I would probably see it as not necessarily a good thing, but I understand the need for it. But hopefully students are still getting exposure to some of the other liberal arts or social sciences like economics, psychology, sociology, things like that.
Definitely. Any other thoughts on that, Christina?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I was actually part of the committee that wrote that in to the One Oberlin report.
I'm calling you up, Chris. I'm calling you up.
So it's not an actual business major per se, it's actually a concentration. And basically the premise around it is that we as business or people in the business sphere have characteristics that generally aren't taught in schools, so such as leadership development, just application of, again, math and economics and those types of things, accounting principles that many, even small business, tax law, those types of things, especially one example is many people go to the con, and many of those musicians end up immediately becoming business owners because they're 1099 contractors. And so the premise around having this business concentration was really making sure that we helped educate entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs to understand the financial impacts and decisions that they would be making. So that's more the application side. I heard you, Z. I heard you.
I like that.
Awesome. Well, let's transition to, like, I guess the basketball side of things. So let's talk about maybe, like, Nicole, obviously Maggie, Shy, talk about just like the transition. Obviously you guys played for Coach Jenkins for a little while, but now this is Coach Dunmire's first year. Talk to them, I guess, a little bit about what it's like to play for Coach Dunmire and your experience with that. Nicole, you want to start?
Get ready to run.
Get ready to run.
No, it definitely was a transition from Coach Jenkins like to run the same things kind of over and over and over again. And Coach Dunmire likes to switch things up, which I appreciate, so.
Awesome. Shy, Maggie?
I think the transition overall was pretty smooth, surprisingly smooth, actually. I think with Coach Dunmire and Coach Mo, we really emphasize like the importance of culture instead of like just basketball being like a team, but more so just being a family and supporting each other. I think like if you're a fly on the wall there and in the practice and stuff, you could really see that just our communication, you know, teamwork, collaboration, everything definitely increased in my last year with them compared to my previous 3 years. But overall, it was just like a great experience. I think my last year was the best, and I don't know, most rewarding year, and the fact that I just, you know, felt so warm and welcoming, but also just like getting to the grind. It just overall, it was great for me.
Yeah, I would say I had a lot of fun, and obviously, you know, going into your senior year and like hearing you're going to get like a whole new coaching staff is a little weird, but it was awesome. It was a great experience, and I honestly wouldn't want it any other way. Yeah, I think that they definitely emphasize like family and like teamwork and team chemistry a lot more than like our previous coach had, and you just definitely could tell, just like Cheyenne said, like there was a big difference, and also it made it a lot more fun, and like the flow was better. We played great together. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Nicole, you have something else to add?
Yeah, I lost my train of thought really quick, but it'll come back to me.
Was it about the and one half court shot that was dedicated towards you, or maybe our anagrams battles? I don't know.
You know, it could have been either of those. But no, it was something, it'll come to me. Well, I definitely really appreciated my senior year a lot. Oh, yes. I also wanted to give a shout out to Coach Mo, who really helped with the individual workouts. Like, I don't know if that's still a thing with COVID and stuff like that, but you know, she took the time to work out with like every single one of us, and Coach Dunmire typed out the whole playbook. Like that's a lot. Like everybody, it was a lot more organized. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's still happening, Nick. We're getting after it. Even though it's different in the age of COVID, we're still going to get after it for sure. I guess for some of the other alums, like what has being, I guess, a part of the women's basketball program at Oberlin meant to you guys after graduation?
It definitely made me want to like keep playing sports and stay connected, stay active, give the gift of coaching to others. You know, I think that, you know, when you're an athlete, it's like just the special swaggy awesomeness that you're a part of. like you can't trade that with chess club, right? Like it's just something awesome about, and chess club is dope, but like being a basketball player is like even more dope, right? So, for me, it was like, I wanted to keep playing. So I ended up coaching for 9 years, coaching high school for 9 years and starting a track club. It just made me want to, and now my kids are athletes, right? So like, I was just like being a part of this program, being a part of being an Oberlin athlete just made me want to like continue to like inspire us, like be an athlete, like it's awesome, like it's amazing, like I don't know.
Yeah, and I think. Go ahead,
Go ahead. You go first, Elderly Z.
Oh. I am not that old. I think Stephanie has.
Respect your elders.
All right. I mean, I think.
By the way, we joked like this back in the day too, sort of.
Yes, it's been a while. But you build friends for life, right? I think, the bonds that we had for, the 1 to 4 years that we all played together during that, relatively short period of time, basketball season. I mean, you go through a lot together. Your teammates get to know you, more than you even know yourself. And what I've experienced, I don't stay in touch with too many of my former teammates, but like some of the strongest emotions or feelings or friendships that I think back on tend to be around my 4 years when I was at Oberlin with my basketball team. I did play run track as well, but like that bond that we had on the basketball team is something that's really irreplaceable. And so I think those feelings, those valuing people and your team members is something that you carry on after you graduate. At least that has been my personal experience.
Mm-hmm. Christine, do you have something to add to that too?
Yeah, same thing that Z was saying is literally you can call any one of your teammates and anywhere you are, and I truly believe this, regardless of how you left off last with them, and they are your sisters. And I actually just said this yesterday to people that my basketball teammates from college or even high school, that I can call any one of them at any time and they'll always have my back. And even now I still believe that to this day. And that's really what I found with the Oberlin basketball team, especially because, you're really going through these most impressionable years of your life and they're watching you grow up as well as you're watching them grow up too.
Mm-hmm.
Quick story. Amber, I don't know if you're going to remember this, but a couple of years ago, I'm sitting, I don't know where we were, somewhere in DC with a couple of my work friends. Just a couple of years ago, and I'm looking down or looking off. I think we were tired. We had been walking for a while, just chopping it up and talking. And two random folks pass us on the bench, and this lady says, "I love your glasses," to one of my friends. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, that voice sounds familiar. It sounds just like Amber. And Amber and I had not talked in like, I don't know, it was maybe 10 years. I don't know. It had been a long time. And I looked up and then she looked over at me and I was like, Amber. And it was just like we had just been talking every day, like it was really, really an amazing interaction that, like Chris said, like you can just pick up the pieces, regardless of how long we've gone without talking. So, Amber, you said you were going to call me, but you never did. We exchanged numbers and everything, and it's been 2 years. I think it's been 3 years.
See, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person.
Wow.
I won't fail you this time.
That's amazing. Any other favorite memories? If you want to talk to, give them an inside scoop on the rivalries, just different things, any favorite memories you guys want to share with them? I mean, Cheyenne, a conference championship, Maggie, Nicole, give them the inside scoop on that. Conference championship, first in school history.
That was pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Pretty cool.
I think, okay, I'll share a little brief memory afterwards. I think, so we one at DePaul, which is like 6 to 8 hours away from campus. So you got to like spend the night over there. That trip is something else. But after the game, it was just so fun because we just like immediately went into the classroom and everyone's like on a desk, like standing up, dancing, twerking, like just things like that. So it was really, it was really a fun experience. Like, I feel like that will stick with me forever.
Yeah. 5.5 hours. It's 5.5 hours. So if anybody heard 8 hours and they don't want to come to Oberlin because it's an 8-hour trip, it's 5.5. Okay.
It felt like 8 kind of, but 5.5 it is.
That's a fun 8 hours back then after a championship. The further the better, right?
Any other memories you guys want to share? Cheyenne, you got another one?
No, I know Nicole has some.
No, I'm just racking the memory banks. You can go.
I think our senior day this year was pretty exciting. Definitely in like my top 3 memories. Yeah, we beat Wittenberg, who's another team in our conference. It was crazy. It was so fun. It was one of those games where like our chemistry was definitely on, and like we just had so much fun, and we beat them on our senior day, which was amazing.
Yeah, great way to go out on the floor.
Like we beat them pretty handily.
Mm-hmm. It was double digits for sure, 15 maybe. Yeah.
71 to 54.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Coach Dunmeyer knows all, like, I don't know how you weren't a math major, Coach, because, like, she does all the calculations. She gets on me if my calculations are off on, like, free throw percentage or anything. So she's very detail-oriented, that's for sure. Awesome. Any other fun memories anybody wants to share?
Yeah. I think one more is, so Coach Dunny and Coach Mo went to, I'm not going to name the school, another school in our conference, and we got the chance to play them, and we whooped them on the home court. So that was just a great feeling.
Yes, and we got to take a picture by Coach Dunmeyer. Coach Dunmeyer's on the wall there, so it's pretty cool. And then Zinga and, like, Coach Dunmeyer played against each other. And I remember, like, in Zinga, like, the first time I met Coach Dunmeyer, she's like, yeah, I played her, and she was so good, and it was pretty cool.
I did. I really spoke highly of you. You were like the one of the people that I just loved playing against. I know I've told you that too, but just obviously such a classy competitor. But in terms of just I think the rise of Oberlin while you were there, and just it was fun to play you guys, but you know, always so competitive and everything. So yeah.
I mean, I think we've done a lot of talking about you know, our interactions with our classmates and teammates at Oberlin, but we also interact with, you know, our competitors at the other colleges, right? I mean, for 4 years you're competing against the same people, trying to outscore them, outdo them, win a you know, game. I think when I was there, Ohio Wesleyan and maybe Wittenberg were 2 of the schools that Oberlin had never beaten in our history. So those were, like, you know, teams that we were always, like, really trying to get really, really hyped for and win. And I don't think during my 4 years we ever got a victory against Ohio Wesleyan or Wittenberg. But, you know, those are fun games. Like, and Amber's crazy, so she would always get us really, really, really hyped. One of my memories, or a lot of my memories, and I don't know if Chris, I was this much of a troublemaker because I think I was a senior and you were a freshman. So Amber, you might remember this more of me getting the team in trouble because I didn't want to come to practice. Like I remember there was one practice where I just was not feeling well. I did not want to go to practice. It was like a 6 o'clock practice. And I told Sheena, I think it was Sheena and someone else, that I was not going to come to practice. And Coach Gilbert was like, if she doesn't come, you all better not show up to practice either. And we are not going to have practice until all of you are here. And I think I got the whole team in trouble.
I was so mad.
I feel like that happened often because you're a senior. And like, by the way, like me being a freshman and like Z being Z, like, you're like, all right, whatever. We're going to listen to whatever she says.
Did you all go? Did you really?
No.
Sorta. I guess we did.
No, it was me. Yeah.
I will say, my bad. But going back to Nicole's statement, in terms of like interacting with the community, even with Facebook now, by the way, like I'm actually friends with a ton of townies. So the people who are actually in Oberlin, who are from there, who live there, they actually all went to our games, and they will say hi to you. They'll, talk to you about your game. And we had just so much support from the local people in Oberlin that even to this day, they'll remember who we are and who I am at least, but, and like tell me like, hey, and have a whole conversation with me. And even like Nzinga was saying is, I'm still Facebook friends with people from OWU or Wittenberg who we also played against. So we, keep in touch with those folks too.
And do you have
I was
something
just
to
gonna
add?
add one more
Yeah, for sure.
fond memory. Yeah, so like my sister went to Earlham, so anytime we played, Earlham was like fun. Like I would get everybody super hyped, like, listen, we better not lose to my sister's team. Like, so those were fun times. Sad for some, not for us. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this is so cool. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And I know we're getting this hour's flown by. I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely flown by. So any, like, I guess, parting words of wisdom, any thoughts about Oberlin or any advice I guess you can give to some of these recruits that are going through the process right now? Nicole, you came off mute pretty quick.
Yeah. Just enjoy every moment that you have, like in the recruiting process, going to college. Like, you never know when things are going to change, So especially with this whole COVID thing, it's put in perspective. Like, take advantage of every day you have with your pals.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And kind of going off of that, everyone has kind of said how special Oberlin is. So if you do end up at Oberlin, take advantage of the opportunities that Oberlin gives you, or wherever you end up, hopefully at Oberlin, because Oberlin has tons of cool things you can do. Yeah.
Definitely.
I would say, college is a great opportunity to grow into the person that you want to be. And along the way, you'll meet some amazing people. Some will be your classmates, some will be your teammates, your professors, your coaches. The list is endless. And I think you heard from many of the people here, they've added to that list. And, not everyone gets the opportunity to play sports competitively in college. So seize that opportunity. And what's really great about Oberlin is that the faculty and the staff will support you on and off the court and in and out of the classroom. I don't think you can really get that full experience from other places.
Yeah.
I think to build off of what Nzinga said, I would say just really make use of your resources like you have, like your teammates, your coaches, friends, faculty, everyone. I think part of why I think I love Oberlin so much is just like the people that I met, like Nzinga said. And I think that the people that I met while at Oberlin are the reason why I am where I am today. And just, really like molded me into the person that I'm glad I'm becoming. So definitely make use of your resources. Always reach out if you ever need help, just simple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. Come in with a spirit of hard work, right? Like, when you come into a program, you don't know where you're going to fit into the puzzle. You might have an idea in your little high school senior mind, like, this is what I'm going to do. But the coach might have a completely different vision for you. Be malleable, be a hard worker, ask lots of questions, connect with your seniors, because it's a really special time and a special opportunity for you to learn. And then when you leave, like, think about, like, how are you going to give back to the program and give back to the school after you've gotten all this awesome growth and development in the program.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I have that same sentiment that everybody said. And I also do want to reiterate that Oberlin has one of the best conservatories in the world. And I would recommend, if you do come to Oberlin, that you engage with the campus, that you engage with the conservatory, and really take advantage of those resources. Because honestly, when you leave Oberlin, you're really going to miss it. And I often get to visit, but every time I go, I at least go see a conservatory performance.
It's a really, really good point. Thank you all so much. I mean, I think it speaks volumes about our program, just in terms of when Coach Dunmire sent out the email about, hey, like, we're trying to, obviously in the age of COVID, like, show people what Oberlin's all about, and just getting your guys' responses so quickly and just being so willing. I think it speaks volumes about this program and every one of you as individual people. I think you all are doing amazing things, and I've learned a lot from you guys in the last hour. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you everybody that's taken the time out of their Sunday to attend. Do you have anything else to add, Coach?
No, just that I echo Coach Mo and just thanking you guys, our wonderful panel tonight. I know we've got some great attendees as well, and we'll be sending out this recording even to you guys if you want to watch it again. It's getting pretty dark in Coach Mo's room. She's actually locked in that room. I feel like we should share that with everyone. Did Izzy come and save you yet?
I think she got it unlocked. I haven't checked.
Okay. She's locked in the room, so we were a little concerned. But no, I just can't thank you guys enough. And again, I think what we have here, and it's so clear. We have, a graduate as old as 02. I graduated in 2000. I'm still by far the oldest person in the room right now. But those. Yeah. See, right. Yeah. The same sentiments kind of keep ringing true, from year to year, from then to 2020, in terms of the connections that you make and the relationships and kind of what holds true and stuff. And so, we just want to continue to build on that in our program here. And, hopefully some of those that are watching this will be a part of that in the future for sure. So thank you all for coming.
Yeah. Thank you all so much.
Panelists, if you want to stick around and have more of a reunion, do so.